Alright guys, so in this section I'm going to talk about supply and demand, or zones. Okay, so basically zones are just an area where the market has agreed, where buyers and sellers agree. So the market is constantly in an imbalance, right? It's constantly selling, buying, selling, buying. It's constantly in an imbalance. But when buyers and sellers agree, it creates a zone, or a supply and demand zone, okay, where price actually does one direction. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. You want to find these supply and demand zones on the higher time frames, like on the 1 hour, on the 2 hour, on the 3, on the 4, whatever. Just not on the 15, on the 30 minute. You want to go higher, okay, because you'll be able to identify them easier. So I usually like to use the 1 hour and the 4 hour. You know, like those are my time frames: 4, 1, 15 minute. Okay, so but for supply and demand, I usually use 1 hour and 4 hour. So I'm gonna check it out for you guys, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we have GBP JPY. All right, so give me a second. If you can take a look at price. Right here, you know, we're on the 1 hour time frame, and if you can see here very clearly, without even zooming in, right, without even going too deep into it, you can see that price revisited this point twice and shot up. Okay, this is gonna be an area of supply and demand. So what you do is you go here, actually you go here, you get that rectangle. What I like to do is draw a rectangle in that area, so that when I see price touch that area, it reminds me that this is a supply and demand zone. Okay, it's similar to it's very similar to support and resistance, kind of, but it's just on a bigger time frame, bigger scale. So like I said, the market is constantly in an imbalance. It's always looking to buy or sell, but sellers and buyers have agreed that when price touches this point right here, everybody's gonna buy. Okay. And same thing can be said in multiple pairs, right? So if you look at here, for example, same thing, almost scenario. Right here. Oops, drawing the wrong thing. All right. So right here, price came down, touched it, came down, touched it, and went up. Okay. So that is a supply and demand zone, where, like we said, price has agreed that when it touches there, it's going to go up. Now, we can find this all across the map, on all the charts. For example, here we got one. So check this out. Right here, we got one. And these areas don't necessarily have to be in the bottom of price. Same thing, it could be on the top of the price, right? So it could be, you can look for it like, if, you know, when price touch like a certain area on the top, you know, like for example, look at this right here. This is GBP JPY. We got that little zone right here. I will count that as a zone right here. So we got the zone in the bottom, the zone in the top. Right, so when price touches those zones, it makes a reaction. Okay, so those are zones. Now, when you identify the zone, you know, it doesn't mean that 100% of the time price is gonna respect those zones. So don't think that, you know, oh, this is a for sure thing. No, what it means is just that's a hot zone. Think about it as a hot area where once price touches there, something's gonna happen. So be ready. Right now, obviously, based on history, like, you know, remember everything in the charts, we're predicting the future based on history. So history taught us here, price touched that point, shot back up. Then obviously here we're gonna be looking for buys again. Okay, unless it breaks this structure and it starts making closing lower candles here, then obviously that zone is no longer valid. All right, so those are zones. You can look for them on the 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame. Again, the bigger the time frame, the better it is, just because Look at this one, for example, that we drew here earlier. Just because it respects it more, it's more respectable. Remember, higher time frames have priority over smaller time frames. So if you see something on the 4-hour time frame over the 1 hour, it's probably going to be respected more. But check this out. This is the one that we drew earlier here. We're in the 4-hour time frame. That is definitely a nice little supply and demand zone. Okay, and you can draw these all over the place, guys. What you do is, like I said, when you look at the 4-hour chart, and you can also do the same thing that I talked about with the support and resistance, and do lines and look for places where, you know, price kind of look like. For example, I don't know if you guys want to do one here, that could be an area, and then you go back to candles. All right, so those are zones, guys. Like I said, draw them on the bigger time frames so you guys have an understanding of them. Okay, thanks so much.